So I just took this image of Vegito and turned it into a 3D print using the newest Hitem3D V2 model. I'll walk you through step by step how to take your image and convert it into a 3D model. And then I'll go over in more detail on how this model works for hard cases where there's strong lighting, dealing with realistic materials, occlusion, and even hair textures on people. And if you're new here, my name is Kevin. I've been doing robotics and AI for 10 plus years and have lots of resources on my channel. I also have a Master's Robotics and AI bundle, as well as a Robotics Projects bundle to help you get started in your career. Okay, so to get started, you want to come here to Hitem3D. I'll leave a link in the video description. So the first thing you want to do is come over here. You can see on the left side, there's an image to 3D tab. And there's also a multi-view to 3D where you can give it the front, back, left, or right view. We'll be using the image to 3D where we're just using one single image. So what you want to do is drag and drop your image to this area here, which I'll do. So once you have your image dragged in here, you see that there's different versions. So the one we're using is the V2.0. This is the newest one that just came out, which is known for its high fidelity textures and 3D print ready. So the previous one was the 1.5, which I did a video on, but this one we're focusing on the V2, and we'll also compare some of the differences between the older one and the new one. And the specific resolution, we're going to be using the highest one, the 1536 P3 Pro. So this one is going to be the one that's going to be ready for 3D print, which is what we're focusing on. And then we're going to be choosing the geometry and texture option here. And then once you click generate on the bottom, it's going to take a bit of time for this to load and generate. So we'll wait for this to be done and then take a look at our output. Okay, you can see this is the result for the V2 output, and you could see all the details in the clothing. You could see the posture is also very similar to the image, almost perfectly as we expect. The hair texture especially, you could see all the things from the back that I couldn't have seen. You can see the top texture is also very pointy like the image. The two front hairs is also very close to the image that we have. And even the earrings, you can see I was able to capture the earrings right here, which is pretty crazy. And also all the muscle textures, you could see the chisels, it captured almost all of that. So just from the single image, you could see that it was able to get so much detail, and it's pretty impressive how far we have come from image to 3D model generation. Now this one right here, I ran with the V1.5, and let's take a look at the difference. So you can see already in the mouth area, it looks a lot worse. It tends to distort what's happening here. And if you look at the ears too, a lot of that is actually distorted as well. You can see in this view, we don't see the earrings anymore. So that's another big difference. The hair texture, I would say in this case is kind of similar, but as I said, around the mouth and ears is probably some of the most noticeable difference. If we zoom a little bit down, you can see that some of the stance is also similar, but some of the cloth folding here seems to be more rectangular here compared with the previous one. But overall, you can see that the newer model definitely has a lot more details than this older version. Okay, so once you're satisfied with your model, you could export it. If you're not satisfied, there's a free retry button you could play around here. But just to take a look at the rendering result, you can see that there's also a white diffuse version. So this is removing all of the textures. You can see how nice the texture is. So the texture is good if you want to, put it in Blender or do some animation. That's where some of that would matter. But you can see these are different views that you can generate too. This is a normal map, and you could play around with the different views depending on your specific application. But for 3D printing, all we really care about is to see the actual details, which you can see here that is actually very, very good. So once you're good with this, what you want to do is come down here to choose your format. For me, I'm going to be using the STL format. So once you choose that, just hit the download button, and then you're going to have your STL file ready. Okay, so here we are in Bamboo. You can see we've imported our model here. And a couple of things to note is when you print this, you want to make sure you enable support. So you can see some of the parts is just floating, right? If you don't enable support as we did here, then when you come to the preview and you try to slice it, you're going to have some issues. So this is with the support. You can see that it's supporting a lot of the areas here. And then if you take a look at layer by layer, you could see actually all the details that we would be printing. So you could see all the textures here. I could actually just make this, I'll choose a white material for easier viewing. I'll slice the plate again. So again, this is just for visibility, but you can see all the layers here and how they break it down. And you can see, depending on how much detail you want, you could adjust the details. But for me, this is going to be good enough for my print. So once you do that, you could print your plates, send it to your printer, and then we'll check out the results. So here you can see this is an extreme close-up of the 3D print, and just take a look at the quality, how good it is. You can see especially the hair, almost every chunk of the hair is showing, and the front hair, as we saw previously. You can even see the tiny little earrings here. If you look closely, it's a little bit hard to see, but yep, right here you can see the earrings even show up. So all of this you can see is very proportional to the actual figure we saw in the picture. There's a little bit of support material that you see here that needs to be cleaned up, but besides that, you can see it turned out really great with a lot of details. So another edge case that we talked about is when there's strong directional lighting, like when a car is outside in the sun and there's direct sunlight pointing to a part of the object. You can see that even in these sort of scenarios, it was still able to render very well. We could take a look at a 360 of this, and you can see if I drag it here and rotate it, you can see a lot of the details here is maintained. Even with just one view, you could see a lot of this did a very good job. Obviously the back, we don't know who the license plate is, so it makes sense that it's kind of blurred out. But everything else you could see, it was able to generate it very well. There's no distortion, even with the parts that has strong lighting. Here's yet another case where we're taking a picture of Shanghai, and you can see it was able to capture some of the main buildings in the middle here. Even though it had very limited views, it was able to assume this was symmetrical here, and this building too, it made some assumptions here. The middle part, it kind of got a flat building, but I would say everything else, it turned out really well in terms of the coloring and texturing as well. So this one here is another example I like because it consists of two materials. Part of it is metallic and gold, and the other part that's leather is non-metallic. So it's able to render things when there's two different sort of objects, materials, and you can see it was able to render this pretty well. It's very circular as we saw in the picture, and it was able to get all the details that it wasn't able to see as well. And the most impressive part is the realistic texture that you can see here of this leather. Just look at that. It looks almost like real leather. So if you were to do this in like simulate it in Blender, for example, you could see that this is very impressive and realistic. Even if you're trying to do something like AI training, then this would provide very useful, realistic data for you. Now, here's another case here where we're taking a picture of her and we're rendering it. So you can see this is the view of her hair, and you can look at all the fine textures for each individual strands of hair. Even right here, the fine hairs by the ear, it was able to capture, and in the front, you can see there's some details in the eyebrows as well. But overall, you can see there's a lot of details that it captures. Some of the eyes is not as great, but overall, it was able to get the head shape pretty accurately. And then for the part that it can't see, it just truncates it. So you can see for even humans, this does a very good job. On the top, it cut off because the image was cut off, so that part makes sense. But everything else, you can see it's a pretty nice model that it was able to generate. And I, of course, had to try it on myself. So I used this picture that I've been putting for my YouTube. And you can see if we take a look at the output, this is how it turned out. You can see it kind of looks like me in some angles. Definitely got my beard part down with a little bit of mustache here. The hair part is also, very similar to my typical hairstyle here. And surprisingly, it was able to even figure out the little hairs in the back, which you know, as for guys, you know that you typically have the hairs here, which is pretty nice. But the overall head shape too, the nose part, I would say looks pretty close to what I have. But, you know, just from one view, I would say it's not bad at all. Now, if you want to try this for yourself, make sure to check out the link in my video description. There's going to be some free credits you can use to get started. So hopefully this helps, and I'll see you next time.